All right, y'all. So I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he asked me a question. The last video I put up, telepresence. Him and I discussed it, and here's the thing: the most important, uh, the gist of that video, I forgot to mention, right? Like the objective of the video was this: telepresence. But the objective of telepresence, like, what? Well, first of all, let me just say again, what's telepresence? Telepresence is the perception of physically being in a non-physical world. I'll say it again. It's the perception of physically being or being located in a non-physical dimension, a non-physical realm, a not physical world. It is the perception, it is the belief, it is the feeling, right? It is the idea, right, of being in a non of being present in a non-physical world. It is again, one last time, because it's kind of a dense idea or concept to grasp. Telepresence means that you perceive, it is the perception of you physically, right? You physically feel as if you are in a non-physical dimension, non-physical realm, non-physical world. That's the essence of telepresence. Why I made the video, this is the gist. This is the main takeaway. Telepresence is responsible for people being stuck in their past. I'll say it again. Telepresence is the reason that people are stuck in their past. It is the reason why people cannot let go of their past. Telepresence accounts for why we are impeded or we can't break free from certain circumstances, certain scenarios, certain experiences that we have experienced in our past. It's telepresence that's responsible for that. So that was the main reason why I wanted to make the video. By the way, if you like this video, if you like what I'm saying, you know what to do. Hit that smash that like button, leave a comment. But again, like I said, so that was the gist of why I wanted to make the video about telepresence. I went in length about telepresence, but I didn't tell you what was the main focus, what was the main reason, because you have to have an objective, you have to have a goal. The goal was to make you understand it. Now, here's the thing: if you can grasp this concept, and it took me a while to grasp it. I did a lot. I wrestled with it a lot in my mind. I regurgitated, ruminated, studied it, chewed on it, brought it back up, digested, and all kind of stuff. Ruminate, till I finally understood. And what the understanding is this. Again, if you I'm gonna go over this again. I spoke about it in the previous video. It's gonna be short. If you talk about the negative, in the negative, you're unaware, unbeknownst to you, you are conjuring up everything. Conjuring, like I said before, means to make appear in the mind in terms of a picture or an image. You are conjuring up in the mind. If you're conjuring up pictures and images in the mind, that means you are simulating. Simulating means you are replicating, you're duplicating, you're producing, right? If you are copying, which is simulating, if you're copying and you're making a copy, right? Think of this. When you talk about the negative, in the negative, something in the past, a breakup, a bankruptcy, a divorce, a repossession, a foreclosure, all of life, whatever life throws at you, if you talk about it in the negative, unbeknownst to you, what you are doing is you are conjuring. If you're conjuring, it means you're making something to appear in your mind. If you're making something to appear in your mind, that means you are simulating. If you're simulating, that means you're producing. You're adding depth, you're adding width, you're adding height. You're giving structure in the mind of the event that happened 5 years ago. And as I mentioned before, telepresence means that you are there physically. You're there physically. It's the perception of being there physically in this non-physical realm that you're creating in your mind. So again, you're creating everything that occurred around that breakup in 2000. Now, here's something that you got to understand. I didn't mention this in the last video. This is important. Time does not exist in this dimension. Now, we're talking about fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension. We're talking about other dimensions here. We're not talking about the 3D dimension that we're currently in right now. You can see me. Only reason you can see me, hear me in this video is because we're in 3 dimension. There's mass, there's matter, and we interact with mass and matter. But once you go out of 3D, there's no mass, there's no matter, not in the sense that we believe mass and matter to be, right? Mass and matter do exist in the other dimensions, but not in the traditional definition of mass and matter. In this dimension, mass and matter is stuff, it's physical, it's tangible. In the other dimension, mass and matter is etheric, it's ethereal, meaning it's immaterial, right? But that's another video. We're not going to go too much into that. That's particle science. But here's the thing. So you're conjuring up all the stuff in your mind about what happened 5 years ago with the bankruptcy, 10 years ago, whatever it is, the breakup. Usually it's a heartbreak. Heartbreaks are usually the hardest to recover from. It's easier to recover from bankruptcy. It's easier to recover from financial losses because these are all externalities. The heart of man is the most sensitive, right? And I'll tell you why in another video. I don't want to go too much into that. But so the breakup that you went through, the divorce, that you went through, the death, the loss in the family, whatever it is that punctured your heart, when you start conjuring, you start talking about it, unbeknownst to you, you are actually structuring it. You're the architecture in the mind. Your mind is architecting, right? You're an architectural designer. You're designing everything that happened, unbeknownst to you. You're just gossiping with your girlfriend, or you're just talking about it but you're talking about it in a negative. So you're still hurt. You're still bitter. So you're building, right? You're architecting. You're designing the exact scenario in your mind by means of conjuring and by means of assimilation. You're creating assimilation. Now, here's the thing. You just built a house. You just created a mansion in your mind of that exact scenario. You built brick and mortar. You laid the foundation. You got the beams, the posts. Everything is built. It was raining that day. Like I said, there was a car accident on your block. The kids was outside playing. It was cloudy. You have conjured up exactly the scenario in your head, unbeknownst to you. You're talking about the negative, but you're not realizing what's going on in the spiritual, in the ethereal, in the other dimensions of your mind. You create. This is telepresence right here. This is how telepresence works. So now talking to somebody in 2005. Now, like I said, real quick, there is no time. There is no time when we're talking about telepresence. Time does not exist. Time is the fourth dimension space. It's space-time continuum, Einstein found out. But time doesn't exist when we're talking about telepresence. There is no time. There is no time and there is no space. And what I mean by that is you talking about your negative breakup to somebody in 2005 that happened in 2000 because you're not over it, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You ruminating, having these thoughts in your mind about whatever it was, put you in that place immediately. Telepresence. That's what telepresence is. You are in that place. You are physically there. You have a perception of physically being there in this non-physical realm that you've manufactured in your mind. And there's no time. This is why time doesn't exist. Because traditionally, normally, you would say time has passed. But the fact that you're talking about it in the negative, it removes the dimension of time because you are now there. And it removes the dimension of space because you're now there. So you're not separate. So two things, the event and in 2000 and you in 2005 are in the same room. You are in the exact same space, the same time, the same place, the same room. There is no time, there's no space. This is what telepresence means. I'm showing you what it looks like, what it means. I'm giving you the logistics, the breakdown, the operations of telepresence. So there is no time, there's no space. So even though it's 4 or 5 years ago, because you were talking about it in the negative, it is now. Because now is all that exists. The now is the only present. It's the only thing that exists. There's no past, there's no future, it's only the now. So when you talk about the negative, in the negative of something that happened in the past, it's present. You are there. Telepresence. I hope you get that. And this right here is the number one reason why people are stuck in their past. This is because you are putting yourself there physically in a non-physical environment, because it's not physical, it's in your mind. You've conjured it up, you've manufactured it. But for all intents and purpose, in terms of how spirituality works, in terms of how psychology works, the dynamics of psychology, the psyche, understanding the psyche, right? Understanding physics. Well, no, not so much physics. Understanding quantum. If you understand quantum mechanics, if you understand how the quantum realm operates, this is science, then you know you know what I'm saying is an actual fact. It's truth, absolute truth. And the proof of the truth is that this is this is why some people, you meet some people, they are indefinitely bitter, meaning permanently. They just have a permanent bitter attitude. Look around. Think about the people in your life, the people you encounter on a day to day. Look at some people, they don't like watching the news. Now, I don't love watching the news, but I do watch the news because it's important for me to understand what's going around in my environment, right? I'm not a news junkie, but again, it's important to stay on top of things. So, pick up a newspaper every now and then. When you see all the ills that you're seeing in society, uh, not going into all the ills, but taking out a particular ill, one of the particular ills is people are stuck. Many of us, mothers, grandmothers, fathers, sisters, look around. So many people are stuck. They're stuck in different telepresence, meaning different scenarios, but it's still telepresence. But it's the scenarios might be different. For instance, using myself, I might be stuck on a heartbreak, right? You might be stuck on somebody got over on you 5 years ago on a bad business deal. She might be stuck on her baby daddy, not paying child support. So and he cheated on her, and so whatever the issue is, the point is everybody is stuck on something in some dimension somewhere. And if you trace the root of their stuckness, you'll find out that it's a result of telepresence, right? You are telepresence, teletransportation, teleport. You are placing yourself back in that rut or that scenario, and you can't get out of it because you're constantly ruminating on it in your mind, conjuring it, building that castle in the sky of your mind, and you're living in it. You ever hear people say you living in your past, don't live in your past? Well, the reason why that term came about, unbeknownst, a lot of people don't understand the science of the term. They just understand the meaning of the term, living in your past. We all get that meaning, but a lot of people don't understand the scientific explanation of that. The science of that living in your past, residing, dwelling, is that you are doing exactly what I just said. The whole conjuring, the whole manufacturing, the architecting, the simulating, right? So that's the gist of what I want to talk about with telepresence, is that telepresence is why you're stuck in the past and can't get out of it. And the way to break that, and the way to get out, because there's always a way out. The way to get out is is the number one way. The number one way is to be mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness is the number one way to get out, and the practice of mindfulness is simply becoming present in the now. Because the word TELE, you have television, telephone. Tele means at a distance or far away. That's what tele means. So is it a prefix? Right. Suffix is after, prefix is before. It's a prefix, right? So tele is a prefix. You have telephone, television, telepresent. It means distant, at a distance, or remote, right? So, yeah, I forgot what the heck I was going with that. But all right, so the point is, I think it's time for me to wrap it up because I literally just lost my thoughts. All right, yo, again, till next time, peace.